I made a book! For the past 3 months, I've been interning at my uncle's studio, their print studio. Me and my uncle Sam have been working on this one project to kind of get me into the print studio and kind of introduce myself to the world of print. They decided that they wanted to make a catalog for all of their wood type, which will make more sense hopefully later on in the video. Me and Sam, we chose a poem by Walt Whitman called I Am the Poet of the Body and I Am the Poet of the Soul. So we chose that poem and we began to assign section of poem to different types of font. So this book is filled with one poem in like 50 different fonts. I honestly can't remember. It's a lot. All right, so I'm just gonna talk you through the process that we used to kind of do this project and hopefully inform you more about the crazy world of print. So we started with looking at a book. We found this like red accounting book, I think, that we kind of wanted to model our book after. We had to make a sample book first, so that started with getting some cardstock and some fabric for the cover and cutting the cardstock down to size, choosing what kind of paper that we wanted to use and everything. We had to cut the fabric out and like cover the cardstock and glue it. We had to press it down a bunch, and then after we finished gluing all of the fabric to the cardstock, we had to put it under a very giant press to kind of dry it out. It's massive, yeah, it's really big. And then we just waited a couple days for that to dry, and then we put it together with the paper in between the cardstock, the front and the back, and we drilled some holes in it, started binding it with string. And that was our sample book. So we made our sample book. Turned out really nicely, so we didn't have to make any like huge adjustments really. So the sample book was the first thing that we needed to do. But before that, I was like going through all of their wood type and all of those like different fonts and everything and documenting them and putting them into my computer. I'd been spending a lot of time on that, and then I spent a bunch more time on assigning bits of poem to fonts. That took a very long time and lots of readjusting. It needed to fit within a confined space because the page is only so big. Yeah, and there was like some really, really small types and some really, really big ones. So it was a process to say the least, but we got it done. Once I assigned a piece of poem to each font, then we had to start getting ready for actual printing. And so to get ready for printing, we needed to set the spacing, I believe that's what it's called. Pretty much there's like little lead pieces of, lead, and they're really thin. There's different sizes of types, so there's like, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You had to like put little slivers of lead in between like each letter. Sometimes they're too close together, or like you need to put like 16 little pieces of lead to make a space, that kind of thing. There's also like bigger ones for spaces. I got pretty good at that, gotta say. I had to do that for every single font, and it is very time consuming, but kind of therapeutic, I would say. I like doing it. And then after you set the type, then you are off to print, finally. So printing, we used this old printing press, and okay, I can't say much about the mechanics of a printing press since I don't know anything about the mechanics of a printing press. You start with putting your set typeface on the press and kind of filling in the gaps and making sure that it's really tight and that it won't move. And then after that, you put ink on the rollers. You gotta let that spread out. After that, you roll the rollers across the typeface. and you get that inked up. We were using black ink, but there's so many other options. But we just decided to use black for the catalog. Keep it classy. Pretty much after you ink it up, then you put your paper in and you print. And it just rolls, and then you have your finished product. We were going through a lot of like pieces of paper to kind of adjust where we want it to be, like find the center, or if it like needs more pressure. Pressure was a big thing. So sometimes you gotta like put more pieces of paper underneath the printing piece of paper or underneath the rollers, or you can put like tiny pieces of paper underneath like letters if like some of them are lighter than others. It's a very meticulous process. And we had to do these for like different types of font, which took a while. So we spent a lot of time printing, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed the process. Yeah, it was a very, very interesting, cool process. Soon enough, we finished printing. All of the poem was done, highlighted, and good. We still needed to make a title page and I'm pretty sure like a back page. With that, we needed to use lead or like metal type, question mark. I'm afraid my uncles are gonna yell at me if I get this wrong. But I'm still learning. So we use like this metal type. It's incredibly small and it's like organized very strangely. It's like how they did it in the olden days, like when they were like making, you know, novels, and it's based on like which letters you use the most. So E was like really big. But that was a little weird to get used to. We decided what we wanted to say for our title page and for our back page, and we had to set that type. And after we did that, we took it to the printing press and kind of did the same process over again. And then after we printed our title and back page, then we got all of our pages together and we had to start organizing. So we decided that we wanted to make 3 books, 3 catalogs. So I was collating the pages. After all of the pages were organized, we started to make the final book. Had to go, you know, back and cut some more cardstock, cut some more of the fabric, and kind of do the same process that we did with the sample book. After we did that, we put our little stamps on the back page, and then we bound the book, and that was it. That was our catalog, our wood type catalog, Walt Whitman's poem. I'm very proud of our finished project. I think it looks really cool. There's so many cool fonts in there, and I definitely learned a lot in this process, and now I have some more ideas of what I can do in a print studio. I think it's really cool, just learning how to make a book. Not something you can you learn every day, but I think it is a valuable skill to me now, and I'm excited to do some more projects. Yeah. So that's how you make a book.